Hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new episode of our NASCAR Heat 5 Volume 2 Career Mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we head to Bristol Motor Speedway here for the elimination race of this round of one, where we have two drivers currently locked in with wins, with Keselowski, Kyle Busch, and Denny Hamlin actually locked in on points into the round of 12. However, we come into this very, very tight in the point standings area, 5 points above the cut line. Thanks to Sanok in our community, you can see we actually have the playoff banner and a spoiler, the yellow spoiler on the car now. So actually some playoff legitimacy to this car. And actually it has a win sticker on it as well. You won't be able to really see that, but adds a little bit more immersion to it as we kick off our qualifying run here in Bristol, which is only about 15-16 seconds here as we come through 3 and 4 already, and now to turn 4. It was a decent lap, it wasn't great. I certainly left some time on the table, especially on the entry of the corner, but we hit a 16.116. That puts us P19 here for the elimination race of the round of 16. We'll take a look where everybody else qualified. There's a handful of drivers we're specifically watching, of course, with Bubba Wallace, William Byron, Kurt Busch, Austin Dillon, Tyler Reddick, as well as Chase Elliott, all in the bubble area where we are as well, so we're kind of racing those guys. But it's going to be Kevin Harvick and Joey Logano making up the front row, with Kyle Busch, Buescher, and Truex rounding out the top 5 here as we were ready to get this race underway. And although we qualified, 19th place, which isn't the greatest qualifying effort in the world, I think by the time we get to the end of this race later in the night, we'll probably be well up inside the top 10. We had a fantastic finish here earlier in the season at Bristol, and we hope and look to replicate that again here tonight in an elimination race that is now underway. We are green flag racing here from Bristol Motor Speedway under the lights here behind that number 24 Exalta Chevrolet of William Byron. He's trying to race his way into the round of 12 here now. It's not been a good start to the playoffs for him. It's not been a good start to the playoffs for Bubba Wallace. Those two drivers, it's been very, very rough so far for them. Kurt Busch with as well some work to do if he wants to make it into the next round of the playoffs here, as we're battling up the inside of that number 8 of Tyler Reddick here. All of Richard Childress Racing right now, unfortunately, is in a very close bubble area, and honestly there is a pretty good chance that one of us, or maybe even two of us, end up on the eliminated side of the playoffs here at the end of this evening in Bristol Motor Speedway. Now we hope we have all 3 cars in the round of 12, but I think that's a tough task for Richard Childress Racing, a 4-star team. And we can see right now lap 5 coming to lap 6, all 3 of us battling with each other here from P19 to P20 to P21. Michael McDowell as well up my inside here, as it was taking a minute. It was that typical trend with this car and myself where it takes a while for the tires to kick in, but once that long run starts to roll, I'm able to start rolling myself in and make some moves here. We passed Tyler Reddick, who's having a bit of a rough start to this race, and you cannot afford a rough night here in Bristol here as we continue to try and work our way forwards. It took till about the halfway point in stage 1 to kind of get a move on with it here, now passing Austin Dillon there, and once again Richard Childress Racing having another rough race. We saw that recently there where we were the best finishing Richard Childress car, but we weren't even having that good of a race, and that was in Richmond. But we ended up getting a pretty solid finish out of Richmond when we really didn't run that great. So here we are though, lap 17 up the inside of our rival, by the way, of Eric Jones here. Now being careful how I race around him, and he's certainly not being careful with how he races me. He tries to shove me down to the apron there. We get clear of that number 43, but not making Eric Jones very happy here tonight under the lights now, as he's running into the back of me as well in turn 1 as well as 2, and he was, like I said, he was not making it easy for me. Now on the exit of turn 2, he's going to put me in the outside wall on lap 19, so he's trying to make it a bit of a tough task for myself to continue on in the playoffs here with how he's racing us now, but we hold on briefly there to P19 with 11 laps to go on the stage, and continuing to use my preferred lane here around Bristol, right around that top, and just try to move our way forwards. Alex Bowman currently leading the way, still looking for his first win. He did miss the playoffs, so it could be a non-playoff winner here tonight under the lights in Bristol here as we came through to these final 10 laps, and now we're rolling at this point. But look at this, Kevin Harvick, who started on pole, is dropping like a rock outside of the top 10 in just 20 laps, and here I was making it 3 wide with him and his teammate of Eric Almirola. We go around the outside of that Subway Ford Mustang, and now as well battling Eric Almirola into turn 3 on lap 23. This is going to move us up into the top 15, so the longer the run goes, the better for this Flow Racing number 27 car, because we are on the move, continuing to close in on Matt DiBenedetto there in that number 21 Wood Brothers Ford Mustang. And by the time we come through to 5 laps to go, slow on the stage, well, we had run down that number 21 of Matt DiBenedetto, and we tried to sweep around the outside. We're all very happy with how this car is feeling in this longer run on this track here now, as it kind of felt like that pace that we had earlier in the season where we were able to run up there in the top 10 towards the top 5. As you can see, we cleared that 21, clipped the outside wall just a little bit there, a little bit of a scrape, no big deal. So we take the position though, and by the time we come through to the final lap, you can see too far back to be able to run anybody down in front of us, but Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, Brent Keselowski, they're all going at it there, but they're not even fighting for a stage point. Alex Bowman wins the first stage there, no playoff points for him, but we exit turn 4 for P14, so no stage points for us, but however, the drivers we're fighting for in the bubble area also did not get stage points, like Chase Elliott, Austin Dillon, Tyler Reddick, Kurt Busch, etc. So we came into this race 5 points above the cut line. We exit stage 1 and start stage 2 5 points above the cut line. William Byron, however, did get 1 point, so we're not really focused on Byron. He can get himself into the round of 12, and still we wouldn't necessarily have to worry about him. So very good, though, for him to get at least a single point. That could make a difference at the end of the night as he does try to race his way in. But look at this. We gained 3 positions on the pit lane. A fantastic pit stop there, and a lot of movement on the pit lane. A lot of positions gained for a bunch of drivers up here. But it is time to get amped here for the start of Stage 2 from Bristol Motor Speedway. Turn up the volume. There you have the amp segment here as we are now in P12, and Alex Bowman, who won stage 1, one of the drivers with a terrible pit stop, he's just now passing myself, but you can see a lot of speed in that Ally Financial Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports in that number 48 now as we continue to try and work our way forwards. However, what we're noticing here is that trend I already talked about. You know, the short runs do not really benefit this car, and I'm hoping that we don't have to determine the results of some of these races here in the playoffs because of a short run at the end of the race, because it's certainly not going to be very beneficial for myself here. Now, as you can see, the 34 of Michael McDowell making a pass. So down into P15 is Matt DiBenedetto as well, tries to close in on me, but the caution's actually going to come out here in stage 2. Nobody's coming into the pit lane because we can all make it to the end of the second stage, so we would all get ready. And actually, there's smoke coming out of a car up there in front of us. I believe it was Daniel Suarez in the 99. However, I'm not 100% sure. It was hard to tell from here, but based off of the order, I think it was Daniel Suarez with that engine failure, or tire failure. I think it was a tire failure because nobody's out of the race. So we continue back underway, 14 laps to go. So halfway through this second stage, Martin Truex Jr., Brad Keselowski, Hamlin, as well as his teammates of Kyle Busch and Christopher Bell, all up at the front. So Joe Gibbs Racing right now has 4 cars in the top 5, and then it's Keselowski joining them. So, I mean, they are on absolute fire right now here in Bristol Motor Speedway. And, you know, Bristol's a track that suits a lot of driver strengths there at Joe Gibbs Racing. Hamlin always so strong at Bristol. Kyle Busch obviously has dominated Bristol many times. Martin Truex Jr. has really gotten good at short track racing over recent years, and as well Christopher Bell, very, very strong when it comes to some of these short tracks as well, like Bristol Motor Speedway here. As you can see myself get a little bit roughed up from that 43, and unfortunately we're getting stuck here in the worst possible spots, and we were losing positions. We're down to P19. We're past that point where this car should start to kick in, but once things settled down, it did kick in, and I was able to start making some ground up here. We passed the 9 of Elliott. Now is actually, there's the 47, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. blowing up on the exit of turn 2, and we're going to go up into P14 there. No caution's going to come out. We will stay green, but that would create quite a bit of separation and put us here at P14 with 2 laps to go in the stage now. Michael McDowell, Austin Dillon out there in front of us now as well. You see again, I think I see some more smoke here. I think it's either Stenhouse or somebody else is blowing up. No, it is another car blowing up. It's the 19. It's the 19 of Martin Truex Jr., who might find himself now eliminated at the end of the night here in Bristol. There you see him slow and well off the pace. He's going to be coming into the pit lane at the end of this final lap of stage 2, which Denny Hamlin has just crossed the line to win. We have stolen stage points from the checkup there from cars in front of us, and suddenly we're going to go from 0 to 3 points. That just might be the scenario that we needed to get this top 10 rolling for us here. 3 points is going to put us now 8 points above the cut line. Going into this final stage, William Byron has gained another 2 points and closes himself closer to drivers like Tyler Reddick and Austin Dillon for that final spot in the round of 12. But Martin Truex Jr. might have now found himself out of the playoffs here. We'll have to wait and see, as we would once again have a lot of parity in the pit lane, and that would move us up at a P7 here as we were back underway halfway through this race. Now it's 61 laps to go, and we run P7 on the inside, and we know that it's all going to be about surviving here on the short run. I did make some changes, so I added a good chunk of grill tape to the car in hopes that will help us with a little bit more speed here, especially in the short run. The spotlight, though, of this final stage is on the fight with Martin Truex Jr., who can only just sit back and hope and watch and see what happens here throughout these final few laps and see what happens with this playoff scenario. However, like I said, Truex is out of the race, but he picked up a lot of points in stage 1 and 2, ran top 5 both stages, so he did pick up a lot more points than any other drivers behind him. However, you know, he's going to give up like 30 potential points right here in this final stage, so he is still going to be close, I think, to making it into the round of 12. He just needs to hope some of these bubble drivers have some issues here. Now, as you can see myself losing some ground, but with the Truex issue, I'm pretty confident now, and unless we have a major downfall, we're going to make it into the round of 12. But you can see I actually made a bit of a mistake with the grill tape, so we're actually overheating the engine a little bit here. Right at the end of these straightaways going into the corner, you see the temp icon is coming on, so we are overheating the engine, so we are going to have to take some grill tape off. But fortunately for myself, we have proven, you know, track position is key, because I would hold on to 8th place over Kevin Harvick, who's rebounded to a nice top 10 running position currently. As you see myself actually getting the outside wall right there, fortunately do no damage to the car, but we got to the point where we hit that turnover and the car started getting really good, and I felt like I had a top 5 car at this point, because now I'm running down Kyle Larson, running down Kyle Busch. We're closing in on lap traffic as well, so that is going to play a bit of a factor here, and I love lap traffic at a track like Bristol or Martinsville, because we're always so much better than the AI are at dealing with lap traffic and navigating around them. So I knew that was going to be an opportunity for myself, and it was just very quick on lap 87 when it would happen here. As you can still see, overheating the car, but using Austin Cindric, myself and Kyle Busch used him as a pick there, and we both passed Kyle Larson, and now I'm going to try and use another car as a pick to pass Kyle Busch. Here's Joey Gase making it a little bit difficult for that 18 of Kyle Busch there, and I'm going to switch back, jump down to the inside. You can see all the leaders up there in front of us. Hamlin currently leading, but as well him all the way through 5th place are being held up by lap traffic, so we could be fighting for the lead of this race here momentarily. We had run this group of cars down. Hamlin trying to run for his life. He had now built a little bit of a gap there, but we passed Ryan Blaney. We're going to go to the outside of Keselowski, as well as Christopher Bell. 3 wide here on the exit of turn 2. A little bit of contact with Keselowski. He saves it. We continue on down into turn 3 and P4, but the caution is going to come out with 27 laps to go here. We barely are short on fuel. Everybody, though, is going to come in. I didn't know, though, what everybody was going to do. I decided to come in for 2 tires. I take half a can of fuel, 2 tires, and as well we make some repairs. And right here is where I find out very quick that we have made an error. Everybody behind us just took 4 tires. I don't know why. I was a bit surprised. Usually in this situation they don't take 4, but we have made some pit errors before, and I've made some pit errors, you know, throughout my whole time here on NASCAR Heat 5. You would think that playing it for however many races we've done, we would learn, but we haven't. And now our playoffs might be in jeopardy here, depending on how this final run goes here. And I was already, please, 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 give me a caution mode at this point now. As you can see, Kurt Busch was able to get past us. We do not need Kurt Busch winning this race. He is below the cut line, still has a chance to race his way in on points, but we don't want him winning this race. So with the current situation that we find ourselves in of falling down this order, and you can see how quick I would fall down the order. Poor Denny Hamlin got stuck behind me. I felt bad for holding him up, but I was trying to stay out of his way, but he just couldn't find a way around me until he got down to the inside and passed me that way. 3 wide here. We had fallen now outside of the top 10. Our playoff hopes are suddenly, with 18 laps to go, diminishing to advance through this playoff, all because of our own error to take 2 tires. Christopher Bell is leading leading this race. We're down to 18th place with 16 laps to go, and now I know we are very, very close. I don't know the specifics, but we're close, but the caution comes out, and it doesn't matter because immediately we're going to come in. We're going to get 4 tires on this car and try to move our way back forward after that silly mistake that we have just made. So we are going to come into the pits and give up some track position. However, there's quite a few cars a lap down, so it's not the worst case scenario. We're going to be about 25th place, so we're going to give up about 7 positions here and get back underway. But now I know, like I said, we're really close in the cut line area, so we need to get aggressive. And you look at the lap count here, we have over 10 laps to go with Kurt Busch leading the way. No, it's actually going to be Bell taking the lead back from him down into turn 1. He was on the inside. He clears him, and Christopher Bell looking for a second win of the season. His first one came at the Indianapolis road course. He's trying to do that again and get his second win here in Bristol now up the inside of that 14 of Chase Briscoe as we try to move our way forwards here. In these closing laps, you see myself getting a little bit desperate for positions right there, putting the bumper to the back of the number 10 Smithfield Stewart Haas Racing forward of Eric Almirola, and we take the position up into P21 now, passing our team to Tyler Reddick, who's having a rough night here in Bristol. He could find himself eliminated before I find myself eliminated here at the end of this race, and passing McDowell as well into the top 20, and now I could calm down a bit. I was pretty confident with the stage 2 scenario with the few points there that we picked up, and now running 18th place and seeing everybody in front of me that we were going to be okay and safe to make it into this round of 12, so I kind of calmed down a little bit here. 2 laps to go. Christopher Bell had ran away. He had come through to start the final lap already, while second place is just now out of turn 4 heading down the front straightaway, so Christopher Bell is cruising to victory here for the second time this season. Under the lights in Bristol, white flag in the air. We had top 10 speed. It just wasn't meant to be. However, we rebound enough to where we're going to continue on in the playoffs unless we crash the car. Christopher Bell wins here in Bristol through 3 and 4 for the final time. Going to help my teammate of Austin Dillon and stay behind him for sure. We crossed the line for a disappointing 17th place finish here. It's crazy how, you know, the race we deserved a good finish, we didn't get it. The race where we didn't deserve a good finish last time out in Richmond, we did get it. So Bell wins over Alex Bowman. Bubba Wallace with a great race there in P3. He was in a realistic must-win scenario. He came up just short. However, we'll have to wait and see. We'll take a look here in just a second at the updated playoff grid, who made it and who are going to be the 4 unfortunate drivers out. Does Martin Truex Jr., who finished dead last, get eliminated? Yes, he does. We make it by 9 points. Tyler Reddick misses it by 1. Kurt Busch has raced his way in. Truex is out by 3. 11 out Byron. Bubba Wallace out by 17. So Tyler Reddick, Martin Truex Jr., William Byron, and Bubba Wallace are eliminated in this first round. A huge shock to the sport with Martin Truex Jr. being out in the first round when he should have been cruising, of course, into that round of 12. And, of course, we get the next round of the playoffs underway in the next episode with the track at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And you see the updated playoff grid where we got Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Keselowski, Harvick, all 20 plus points above the cut line. Unfortunately, we start this round, you know, below the cut line. Look, there's a 3-way tie right there for the final few spots, but then we start 6 points below the cut line, and my teammate of Austin Dillon is 8 points below the cut line. So this is an unbelievably close playoff grid, and it's going to be close for the remainder of this playoff, I guarantee. If you guys enjoyed, you know what to do. It's going to be an exciting round. I think we have Talladega, we have the Roval, so there's some 2 tracks right there that could favor us. I honestly think we can make the round of 8. This could be a way more successful round than the other one just was with the round of 16. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day, everybody.